You're sitting down to finally set up your investment account. You've been putting it off for weeks, maybe months, and you get to the part where it asks how much you want to contribute monthly, and without really thinking about it, you type $500, not $487, not $523, exactly $500. You don't even pause to question it, it just feels right. Or maybe you're negotiating your salary and your target number is $80,000, not $79,400, not $81,200, 80,000 even, clean, satisfying. Like the number itself has some kind of gravity pulling you toward it. Here's the thing, and that instinct, that magnetic pull toward round numbers, is costing you more money than you probably realize. And the really uncomfortable part? It's not random. It's not coincidence. Your brain has been systematically hijacked by the aesthetics of numbers, and the financial industry knows it, exploits it, and profits from it every single day. I genuinely believe that understanding the psychology behind financial decisions is just as important as understanding the math. If you want to stop being manipulated by your own brain when it comes to money, subscribe and stick around. Because today, we're going into something that most financial channels never even mention. And once you see it, you'll never look at a price tag, a savings goal, or a salary negotiation the same way again. Let me challenge something you probably believe without realizing you believe it. Most people operate under the assumption that their financial decisions are driven by logic. You look at the numbers, you do the math, you make the rational choice, and sure, maybe you acknowledge the occasional emotional purchase. That jacket you didn't need, the restaurant meal that was slightly over budget. But when it comes to the big stuff, savings targets, investment amounts, salary expectations, you probably think you're being pretty rational. You're not, and neither is anyone else. And here's what most people don't realize. The shape of a number influences financial decisions just as powerfully as the size of that number. The fact that 100 looks cleaner than 97 shouldn't matter at all in a purely rational financial world. But we don't live in a purely rational financial world. We live in a human one. And humans have a deeply wired, almost neurological preference for numbers that feel complete. Psychologists call this round number bias, and its fingerprints are on virtually every major financial decision most people make. So, where does this bias come from? And why is it so powerful? Research published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that people are significantly more likely to stop pursuing a goal once they hit a round number milestone, even when continuing would produce meaningfully better outcomes. The study looked at marathon runners and found a statistically impossible clustering of finish times just under round numbers. An extraordinary number of runners finished in 3:59 rather than 4:01. They pushed harder, dug deeper, burned more energy. Not because 3:59 is meaningfully different from 4:01 physiologically, but because 3:59 feels like a win and 4:01 feels like a miss. Now take that same psychology and apply it to your finances. A 2021 study from the Review of Financial Studies analyzing over 4 million retail brokerage accounts found that investors placed orders at round price points, $10, $25, $50, $100, at rates dramatically higher than random chance would predict. People weren't responding to market signals, they were responding to the tidiness of the number. And here's where it gets really interesting. A study from Columbia Business School found that sellers who listed items at precise prices, say $487,000 for a house instead of $500,000, actually received higher final sale prices on average. Why? Because a precise number signals that the seller has done their homework. It implies calculation, research, intentionality. A round number signals that you guessed. And when you're negotiating, so being perceived as someone who guessed is an extraordinarily expensive position to be in. How round number bias actually costs you money. Let me make this concrete because abstract psychology only gets us so far. Scenario 1. The savings trap. You decide you want to save $500 a month. Good intention. But why $500? Probably because it's round. It's easy to remember. It feels like a real commitment. But here's the thing. $500 a month invested at an 8% annual return over 30 years grows to approximately $745,000. Now, what if instead of stopping at the round number, you'd push to $550 a month? Just $50 more? Less than $2 a day? That same 8% over 30 years turns $550 monthly into roughly $819,000. That's a difference of $74,000. Earned entirely because you didn't let the round number be your ceiling. The round number felt like a real commitment, but it was actually an arbitrary stopping point that your brain manufactured because $500 looks complete and $550 doesn't. Scenario 2, the salary negotiation disaster. This one genuinely frustrates me because I've seen it play out so many times. Someone goes into a salary negotiation with a target of $80,000. They rehearsed it. They feel confident saying it. The hiring manager comes back at $77,000 and they take it, feeling like they lost the negotiation. But here's what most people don't realize. Research from Columbia Business School shows that starting with a precise counteroffer of, say, $83,750 instead of $85,000 anchors the negotiation more effectively and typically results in a higher final number. The precision signals research, and it signals that you have calculated your worth down to a specific figure, not just reached for the nearest comfortable milestone. The round number actually weakened their negotiating position before the conversation even started. Scenario 3. The debt payoff illusion. You've got $14,300 in credit card debt. You set a goal to pay off $5,000 this year because it's a round, satisfying chunk. Progress feels real. You hit $5,000 and celebrate, which is fine, celebration matters, but then you slow down. The urgency dissipates. You've hit the milestone. Studies on goal completion behavior show that people consistently reduce effort after hitting round number checkpoints, even when the overall goal is far from complete. You still have $9,300 in high-interest debt silently growing. But the round number gave your brain a false sense of completion that it didn't earn. The price tag manipulation you've been living inside. Look, I can't talk about round number psychology without addressing the most obvious and most manipulated version of it: pricing. You already know that $9.99 feels cheaper than $10. You learned that in a marketing class or a pop psychology article at some point. But here's the deeper layer that most people glaze over. The reason $9.99 works isn't just because it's technically less than $10. It's because it disrupts your brain's automatic categorization system. Your brain files $9.99 under single digits before the conscious part of your mind even finishes reading the number. It's pre-conscious. It's operating faster than your rational thought. Now, a 2005 study in quantitative marketing and economics found that charm pricing, the X dollars and 99 cents format, increased sales volumes by an average of 24% compared to the nearest round number price. 24%. That's not a small nudge. That's a fundamental manipulation of purchase behavior at massive scale. Now flip this around and think about what it means for your financial decisions. When you see a price ending in 0.99, your brain is being deliberately steered. When a fee is listed as $19.99 per month instead of $240 per year, the monthly framing combined with the charm price makes it feel almost invisible. $19.99 is a lunch. $240 is a decision. Same amount of money. Radically different psychological weight. Over a year, that streaming service, that subscription box, that software tool, all priced at X dollars and 99 cents per month, might be costing you $1,800 in total, annual subscriptions that you've never once looked at as a single number, because they were never presented to you as a single number. They were presented as a series of small, round-adjacent, psychologically minimized monthly charges. The goal-setting trap. Here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the part that I think is most actionable. We've talked about how round numbers act as false finish lines, but there's another dimension to this. Round number goals actually make you less specific about your plan to reach them, which makes you statistically less likely to reach them at all. Research from psychological science found that specific, precise goals activate more detailed planning behavior than round number goals. When your goal is save $10,000, your brain treats it as a category, a vague financial ambition. When your goal is save $10,400 by November 15th, your brain immediately starts working backward, breaking it into monthly and weekly targets, identifying obstacles. The precision of the goal triggers the precision of the plan. Think about what this means practically. The person who says, "I want to retire with $1 million," is operating with a round number dream. The person who says, "I need $1,340,000 to generate $53,600 annually at a 4% withdrawal rate, which means I need to be investing $1,780 per month for the next 22 years. That person has a plan. And plans have completion dates. Dreams don't. Now you might be thinking, but isn't it better to have a round number goal than no goal at all? And yes, absolutely. Any goal beats no goal. But if you've been sitting on the same round number savings target for 2 or 3 years without meaningfully accelerating toward it, there's a real chance the roundness of the number is part of the problem. It feels complete. It feels decided. But it isn't specific enough to generate the detailed action that actually moves the needle. Using this psychology in your favor, here's the part where we flip the script. Because round number psychology isn't purely your enemy. If you understand it, you can actually weaponize it. Strategy 1. Use round numbers as psychological triggers, not financial targets. Round numbers are great for motivation checkpoints. Hitting $10,000 invested, $50,000 net worth, $100,000 in savings. These feel meaningful, and that feeling is useful. Let it energize you. Celebrate it. But then immediately set a precise next target. $10,000 becomes $13,400. $50,000 becomes $57,200. The round number gives you the emotional fuel, and the precise number gives you the roadmap. Strategy 2. When negotiating anything, salary, a car price, a freelance contract, always counter with a precise number. Not $85,000, $84,750. Not $15,000 for the car, $14,200. The precision signals research, confidence, and preparation. It shifts the psychological dynamic of the entire conversation before a word is spoken. Strategy 3. Audit your subscriptions in annual terms, not monthly ones. Take every monthly subscription you have, multiply it by 12, and look at that number. That number is real. The monthly number is a psychological illusion designed to minimize your perception of the cost. When you see $2,400 a year in streaming and subscription services, you make different decisions than when you see 12 separate charges of $19.99 and $14.99 and $9.99. Strategy 4. Set savings contributions that are deliberately not round numbers. Instead of $500 a month, try $530. Instead of $1,000, try $1,080. The slight oddness of the number keeps it from feeling like a natural resting point. It subtly signals to your brain that this wasn't an arbitrary choice. It was calculated. And that calculation mindset carries forward into other financial decisions. Here's the bottom line, and I want you to actually sit with this for a second. Every single day, your financial decisions are being shaped by the aesthetics of numbers rather than the math behind them. The salary you're targeting, the savings goal you set, the subscriptions you're barely aware of, the prices that feel reasonable, all of it is running through a psychological filter that was built for a world where round numbers meant something useful, and is now being exploited in a world where they mostly just mean someone wants to manipulate your behavior. Knowing this doesn't make you immune. Round number bias is deep-wired. You're going to feel the pull of $500 over $537. You're going to want to negotiate toward $90,000 instead of $91,400. But now you have a choice. You can recognize the pull, pause, and ask yourself, is this number round because I calculated it or because it felt right? That pause is worth thousands of dollars over the course of your life, maybe tens of thousands. This week, I want you to do one thing. Go look at your current savings contribution, your current financial goal, or your current salary target, whichever one feels most relevant right now. And ask yourself honestly, did I arrive at that number through calculation? Or did I just reach for the nearest clean milestone? Then recalculate. Get specific. Make the number weird. Make it precise. Make it yours. If this video made you think differently about even one financial decision you've been making on autopilot, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you want more content that actually gets into the why behind money behavior, not just the what. And drop a comment below with the most round number financial goal you've been carrying around. Let's make it specific together. See you in the next one.